Hi kids, and welcome to Disney Animation Reviews. I'm Josiah Milky, and let's just dive right in. 2010 had some of Disney's biggest animated hits yet, with Disney and Pixar's Toy Story 3 and Disney's Tangled, both of which did really well at the box office. Toy Story 3 was the world's first billion-dollar grossing animated feature film worldwide. They both got really great reviews, and Toy Story 3 won Academy Awards for Best Animated Feature and Best Original Song for We Belong Together, with Tangled getting nominated for Best Original Song for I See the Light. Why it wasn't nominated for Best Animated Feature, I'll never know. 2011 was a different story. Aside from... first off, let me talk about what came in 2011 before the summer. Not much, other than Playhouse Disney on Disney Channel got renamed Disney Junior, and thus it got some new shows. The first was Jake and the Neverland Pirates, the Peter Pan spinoff. There were a couple of other feature films released to theaters during the spring, but none that are very memorable. There's the stop-motion animated Mars Needs Moms, which did really bad, and the fourth Pirates of the Caribbean film on Stranger Tides. I think it was a box office success, but it got really bad reviews, so there's that. Summer 2011 is where the feature animation comes in. Disney and Pixar's film for summer 2011 was Cars 2, and unfortunately, Pixar's streak as the perfect movie business finally came to an end. After 11 successful hits from Toy Story to Toy Story 3, Cars 2 put Pixar in a bit of a rut. For one thing, it's the first Pixar movie to get less than stellar reviews. It currently only has 40% on the Rotten Tomatoes site, making it the lowest reviewed Pixar film ever on that site, and other people have given it a bad rap too. It also, although a box office success worldwide, largely because it took place overseas, it unfortunately didn't quite earn back its budget in America. It made about 95% of its budget, which is good, but it wasn't what Pixar had been hoping for. But to be honest, I rather like Cars 2. I think it's a bit more action-packed and fast-paced than the first movie, which I also like. I just feel like the first film drags too much. So Pixar's misstep was Cars 2, at least critically. Disney Feature Animation had a bit of a problem themselves with their animated feature, and the subject of today's review, 2011's Winnie the Pooh. Now I know what you're thinking, Josiah, we already did a Winnie the Pooh. But that was the Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh from 1977. This is the 2011 Winnie the Pooh. Released in American theaters mid-July, on the same day as the final Harry Potter movie, which went on to become one of the top-grossing hits of the year, I think. Winnie the Pooh got some of the best reviews of any animated feature for 2011, but it also struggled at the box office, only making about 86 or 87% of its budget in America, and doing even worse overseas, largely because Disney made the mistake of releasing it on the day as the final Harry Potter film. I have never seen it in full myself. I've only glimpsed at bits and pieces of it on the internet, but I can see why this film has struggled. First of all, it's too little kid-like. I know it's Winnie the Pooh, but Disney has always been able to deliver movies that kids and parents can enjoy. This one seems strictly more for the kids, so that's one problem it's got. And two, it's really short. In fact, if you take out the credits, it's only like 57 minutes in length, which is a couple minutes short of an hour, and puts it closer to direct-to-video sequel length than a typical animated Disney feature. A brief storyline synopsis. First off, the narrator, following the likes of people like Sebastian Cabot from the original shorts, and Disney's David Ogden Stiers from films like Beauty and the Beast and Lilo and Stitch, and Pocahontas. The narrator this go-around is John Cleese, for all the Monty Python fans out there. He sounds pretty good. I don't think I've actually heard the narration yet, but I've seen John Cleese in other films, so I know he's a great actor. Starting with, a callback to the original Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh is Pooh's out of honey and tries to go and find some, but along the way, he discovers Eeyore's tail is missing, so the gang has a contest to find a new tail for Eeyore. Later, they find a note from Christopher Robin that he's gone out, and will be back soon, but Owl and Tigger mistake back soon for a creature called the Back Sun, which then leads the gang to try and set a trap for the Back Sun and save Christopher Robin. The animation, Disney's tried to revive 2D animation again with this movie, like they did with Princess and the Frog, but Winnie the Pooh has less than stellar results. Oh, the animation looks great, don't get me wrong, and I'm glad that Disney's trying to keep their traditional hand-drawn animation alive, even with computer animation becoming the norm. But, I don't know, it just, again, feels too little kid-like. The voice acting is all great as usual. Most of the characters were recast. In fact, the only two voice actors that are still around for this movie are Jim Cummings as Winnie the Pooh and Tigger, who he's been voicing for years, and Travis Oates as Piglet, who he's been voicing since John Fiedler passed away. Everybody else is recast. Rue and Christopher Robin I can tolerate getting recast because they're kids, but everybody else, Rabbit is voiced by Tom Kenny, SpongeBob SquarePants, even though Ken Sansom didn't die till 2012. Owl's voiced by Craig Ferguson instead of Andre Stajka. Kanga's voiced by one of the songwriters, Kristen Anderson Lopez, instead of Cass Soucy. And although Peter Cullen has returned to voice Eeyore for later years, Eeyore here is voiced by late Pixar story artist and the guy behind their short film Boundin', Bud Lucky. From what I've heard in the trailer and the clips I briefly glimpsed at, the voice acting is all good. It's just a little disappointing that not all the original actors of that era come back. Speaking of cast, the filmmaking crew is also rather impressive for a kid's film. The directors are Steve Anderson, who directed Meet the Robinsons, and Don Hall, who was the head of story on Meet the Robinsons and The Princess and the Frog. This was Hall's directing debut, and along with Chris Williams from Bolt, Hall went on to co-direct Big Hero 6. There are also a bunch of new songs in the film by the Lopez's, Robert and Kristen Anderson Lopez, who later wrote the Oscar-winning songs for Frozen. And the supervising animators of the characters, as most folks have said at Disney, the animators are the true unsung heroes of these films, and all the characters, some of them have the same animator, but all the animators do a really good job bringing these characters to life. People like Disney princess animator Mark Henn was the supervising animator of Pooh and Christopher Robin. Tigger's supervising animator was Disney villains animator Andreas Deja, who's also done hero characters like Hercules, Lilo, and Princess and the Frog's Mama Odie. And Piglet, Kanga, and Roo were all supervised in animation by Bruce W. Smith, who had done Dr. Facilier in The Princess and the Frog. There are other good animators too, but those were the ones I wanted to mention. Most of the songs are sung by the characters, although the Winnie the Pooh song at the beginning and the end credits song are performed by Zooey Deschanel, with Deschanel also writing the closing song. I've only heard a few of them, but the ones I've heard are decent. Actually, the Back Sun song is pretty good, and the animation, which is in chalk animation, it's an interesting new technique that Disney I don't think has ever done before. See, it seems like a less toned down version of Heffalumps and Woozles from the original film, the Back Sun song. If you have little kids, this one is worth watching. Otherwise, you can skip this one if you're older. Before I go over the film's home video release, I'll go briefly over what else Winnie the Pooh and Friends have been in since this film. They have a short series called The Mini Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, where they basically just take clips from the old shorts and some of the Disney Toon releases and do them as short films. And if they're really old, like the old shorts, they redub the old voice actors' dialogue with the new voice actors. Worldwide waste of time, if you ask me. Last year, January 2017, on National Winnie the Pooh Day, yes, apparently that's a thing, Winnie the Pooh and Friends guest starred on an episode of Doc McStuffins, where Doc had to fix Pooh's stuffing, and she and her friends got to meet Piglet, Tigger, Eeyore, and Christopher Robin. Peter Cullen came back to voice Eeyore for that, as did Jim Cummings as Pooh and Tigger, and Travis Oates as Piglet. I saw it online myself. It's pretty cute. Finally, there was the live-action Christopher Robin movie this summer, about Christopher Robin being all grown up and his work consuming time with his family, but after reuniting with Pooh and the gang, he learns to be a kid again. I haven't seen it, but I heard it did pretty well at the box office and got decently good reviews, so maybe I'll check it out when it gets on Blu-ray next week. Winnie the Pooh was released on Blu-ray and DVD fall 2011, the week before Cars 2 came out on Blu-ray and DVD. Bonus features on the Blu-ray, exclusive to the Blu-ray, are some of the deleted scenes, and a behind-the-scenes feature tracing Pooh's history and then talking about the making of the film. Both the Blu-ray and DVD come with some of the deleted scenes, not all of them, but some of them, and 2 animated shorts. The Ballad of Nessie, which preceded Winnie the Pooh in theaters, and Pooh's Balloon, an episode of the mini Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. Ballad of Nessie, written and directed by Kevin Dieters and Stevie Warner Stelton, who created the Prep and Landing Christmas TV special franchise, tells the story of a female Loch Ness monster and her best friend, a rubber ducky, who set off to find a new home after their old one is taken over. Narrated by Billy Connolly and featuring music by Pixar's Michael Giacchino, it's cute, little insubstantial, but it's worth watching, I guess. And Pooh's Balloon is a short, edited version of the little black rain cloud scene from Winnie the Pooh and the Honey Tree, with the new voice actors dubbing over the old voice actors. Again, why waste time dubbing over the old dialogue when you could just include the whole short? So that's my thoughts on Winnie the Pooh. It's okay if you have really little kids, because little kids probably have a really short attention span anyway, so maybe put this film on for them. Otherwise, grown-ups and older kids, this is one you can do without. Well, that's all the time we have for today, kids. Happy Halloween, and remember, when you wish upon a star, your dreams come true. Goodbye!